7 o'clock, and we officially call this board meeting to order. Just like church, everybody sits from the middle to the back. I would just like to ask a couple minutes to share something about a loved one here at Sandy Pines. We lost a faithful, great, and quiet member on Sunday, July 10th. His name was Stan Chase. Stan and Eleanor purchased site number 2 in Phase 1 in 1977. During that time here, he managed the park and garden store from 1987 through 2003. When they started, there were only outside items like plants, trees, shrubs, etc. Stan developed the inside of the park and garden facility with tools, nuts, bolts, etc., and grew the inventory over the years. He and Eleanor both worked for maintenance, cleaning CCs, specifically number 13 and number 12. And they just stopped cleaning CC 13 at the end of last year. So I would ask that as a Sandy Pines family, we remember Eleanor in your thoughts and prayers in these next few days, as they will be very difficult. I stopped and visited with Eleanor this morning. She loves Sandy Pines, thinks that she will return, and could not live somewhere else other than in this park, because she really believes that Sandy Pines is her family during her 6 months here. So thank you for that. And we start with Mike with the invitation.
Dear Heavenly Father, we would like to thank you for all the blessings that you continue to give us here at Sandy Pines. We thank you for the blessing of Sandy Pines, the staff, and the members here. Please be with us at this board meeting and help us to discuss and make decisions that you would want us to make. This we ask in your Son's name. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. On to the roll call, Greta Pitcher.
I'd like to take a roll call right now at this time, and could you please include your site number, your years at Sandy Pines, and the committee that you chair. Bunce?
Terry Bunce, that's N295. I'm on the rules committee as a liaison and as a member, and I'm also on the building and grounds for 40 years.
DeVries?
Marty DeVries, I'm at site D29. I've been in the park since 2002. I chair the member outreach committee, and I also sit as a member of the long range planning committee.
Grinless?
Hi, I'm Raj Grinless. I'm at N22. I've been in the park for 24 years. I'm the chair of the Long Range Committee. I'm also serve on the SORA Committee. And I take care of the Veterans Memorial and plan the Memorial Day services. And I do the bus trips. And just a quick thing, I also do the Tiger ball games. And we do have 2 extra seats in case anybody's interested.
Hoffman?
Tim Hoffman, site K4H5. I'm the board liaison to the Safety and Security Committee, and this is our 4th summer at Sandy Pines.
I'm Dan Kendall. I'm at site 1054 in Phase 3. I've been here 8 years. I chair the Finance Committee and the SORA Committee.
Rob Klein. I am at site 880. I've been a member at Sandy Pines for 13 plus years, and I'm the board liaison for the technology committee.
Nielsen?
Good evening, I'm Carolyn Nielsen. Phase 2, 803. We bought in 2010, so that's 6 years. I'm on the Building and Grounds Committee, and I'm the liaison person for the Golf Committee and on the Policy Committee.
Pitcher? My name is Greta Pitcher. We're on lot 438. We've been here for 23 years. I am the secretary of your board. I also serve on your SORA review committee, and I'm on the long range planning committee. Young?
My name is Mike Young. I'm on lot 492. I've been in Sandy Pines for 33 years, and I'm the chairman of the Building Grounds and Lake Committee and the board liaison on the special events and senior adult activities.
Okay, that concludes the roll call. Greta?
I make a motion to approve the Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Board of Directors meeting minutes of June 17, 2016. Do I have a second? Seconded by Grinwis. Any discussion?
I thought there was one error, I don't have it with me, but I do have the minutes there for you. Just a typo error, I believe.
It was a typo, not content
There was
error?
a typo error.
Okay. We'll review that with Kathy. A typo error, if it's not content error, we can go to a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Minutes approved. On to Greta Pitcher, the approval of new park members.
We have had 22 members, and 4 of them are new, 18 are transfers. In phase 1, we had 2. In phase 2, we had 3. In phase 3, we had 1. Phase 4, we had 8. Phase 5, we had 7. Phase 6, we had 1. And no new members in the condos. I need a motion to approve the new members.
So moved. Second. Carolyn Nielsen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Approval of new park members approved. On to the reports of committees. Committee comments from myself as the chairman. First item under my piece here is the proposal regarding the member outreach and special events committee. This past Monday, the board gave consensus approval for the dissolved individual committees called member outreach and special events. We would like to consolidate these 2 committees to allow for greater strength in member volunteers at scheduled events, and that these committees would normally handle independently. We'll continue the member outreach committee and special events committees through to this season, 2016. We will eliminate the monthly meetings with that dissolving of those individual committees, but rather on an as-needed basis they will meet, and they will meet around all of the event planning, and coordination will be done with myself and Mary Applehoff for those 2 committees. We'll continue to prepare the new member packets as we've done in the past. We will continue to host the new member social events. We'll continue to host the member volunteer appreciation event and any other events coordinated where a number of volunteers are necessary. We may be reaching out to the membership for that. The consensus of the board this past Monday was to approve that proposal to dissolve those individual committees, consolidate those 2 committees, they would meet on an as-needed basis next season. The next item is the board consensus on the revisions to the petition for proposal document. If you remember at the May board meeting, we discussed a member proposal that was submitted, and we felt a need through the course of this season to make sure that we took a look at many of the forms that have been used at Sandy Pines for a number of years, and found that this petition for proposal form has not been updated or reconsidered in any way for quite a few years. So we looked at the spaces provided on the petition to allow for proposal language to appear on each and every page instead of writing it on a page and having a member have to look at a different page in order to sign the petition. We wanted the sponsor of the petition name to appear in the space allowed on the front of the face of the petition for proposal. We wanted the verbiage called legal member name signature and legal printed name member name. In the past, it only stated signature and printed name. And we had associate members, we had non-members, we had trust membership signatures, and we had dual signatures, and we had people's names that were not legal names and very difficult to find them in the membership list. We've limited the a petition for proposals to 20 names on the petition rather than 25, simply to allow for the space on the top of the proposal for the proposal language. And the second page then would require the proposed petition language again to reappear with the sponsor name and all contact information. And there's also a statement that we printed on that document. It reads, "Note, please make sure that all bylaw requirements are met prior to submitting petitions for proposal." The reason is this form had not been updated in many years, and current revisions are considerably more user-friendly, and we felt that that was a definite need for member usage. The board did have a consensus this past Monday and granted approval of those revisions as I've outlined. The third item under comments from the chairman is resolution number 07-15-16A. It's a resolution to amend our rule book, permit book, whereas the bylaws of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated, Article 8, Section 6E, gives the Board of Directors the power to adopt, amend, rescind, and repeal rules and regulations relating to the use of Sandy Pines property and the conduct of its members and their guests. Whereas the Rules Committee of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated has reviewed and recommended changes in the Rules Permit Book, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated does hereby approve change recommended by the Board of Directors to amend the definition of terms, page 5. It's under the definition of terms in our handbook, and we are adding letter number M called election. We wanted to further define what election means, and we defined it as the act of electing of or the act of choosing or selecting people, places, and/or things. I make a motion that we approve Resolution 07-15-16A, definition of terms and adding election. We have a second, Greta Pitcher. Roll call, please, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, discussion. Sorry, Gary.
I do have a little issue with this. We're trying to put in something in the rules, the permit section, that addresses our bylaws. And the only way you can address bylaws is by the vote. I would still like to see this go before the members for a vote, because this is going at bylaw. You put it in a permit section, but you're trying to address what the bylaws are. And it's my opinion that this is the wrong avenue to go in.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I look at it as a similar way. I guess in the past, elections has meant people, and postal ballots have been, questions about shall we approve this or that or not approve it. And if the bylaws can only be changed by the people, the members on the vote, I don't know. Elections is shady. You vote every year for bond proposals, what they're called proposals, in an election for the school board. So I guess, it's out there as people and things, but I don't know if that was what was meant in our bylaws. I mean, it isn't the end of the world, but it seems like it is changing something that we're not allowed to change through the background.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Month. DeVries.
Yes.
Grimless.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Kendall.
No.
Pine.
Yes.
Nielsen.
Yes.
Pitcher.
Yes. Motion carried. 7-2. Next is the finance report from Dan Kendall.
I would like to make a recommendation to the board to approve the June 2016 financial statements for Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails and the Lake Monterey Golf Course. And in addition, to approve the September 2015, which when we met in May, was inadvertently left off the list. We had recommended from October through April. So we missed that one, although we did meet the board and the finance committee in May or June to approve the report from the auditors who did the reviewed financial statements, and we approved those. So we just, clerical thing we're trying to fix up here.
We need a motion. You made the motion. The approval.
Second.
Brinkley, second. Roll call vote, please.
DeVries.
Yes.
Brinkley.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Kendall.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Nielsen.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Funk.
Yes.
Motion carried, 9-0. Next is the Member Outreach Committee. Our committee met on June 18th, 2016. We confirmed the duties and the responsibilities for the June 25 Member Ice Cream Social. We also discussed the upcoming new member event scheduled for August 27, 2016. The new member event did occur on June 25. We had a very warm evening to try to serve ice cream, but it went as planned. We had 52 new members with their families that joined us for ice cream. Jim and Coolering, Mary Applehoff, and Steve Yarman were all present to talk with the new members and answer any questions about our park, operations, and current initiatives in the park. I want to thank the volunteers, the staff that was there, and the Member Outreach Committee members for making this new member event a very good success. Our next meeting is scheduled for Saturday, July 30th. And that's the end of my report. Rules, carry votes.
The rules met on July 2nd, on Saturday, 9 o'clock. And we've been discussing the golf cart definition of the golf cart. And they put together a proposal to help see the not all of them. And they made a recommendation to resolve that the board of directors on Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated does hereby approve recommendations by the Rules Committee to amend wording to Rule Section 12, Vehicle and Traffic Regulations, under item B, and it would be on page 22, and letter H as the definition of a golf cart. I would recommend that the board, to make a motion that the board passes the definition of a golf cart.
So moved. Second? We need a second? Grab a picture. Roll call vote, please.
Brinkley.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Kendall.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Nielsen.
Yes.
Fisher. Yes. Young.
Yes.
Funk.
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes. 9-0, motion carried. Resolution passed. Special events and activities, Mike Young.
Just a minute, please.
Sorry.
The other thing, we had a big issue with rules of a discussion on the liaison and being a member and stuff. And I'd like the board to clear this up. My understanding is when you're a member of a committee, you get rights to vote as any member on the committee does. I am also the liaison for the board, or for the Rules Committee. And we had a discussion if I had that right to vote or not being the liaison. But it is my understanding that if you're a member of the committee and the liaison, you still have the right to vote. If policy person would like to.
That's the way that the policy is stated. That you're a member of the committee, you are allowed to vote. Is that clear? Any questions anyone had?
So, Carrie, I would ask, your name appeared on the membership committee list before we appointed you as the board liaison as well, correct?
I don't know if it was before or after. I can't speak to that for sure, but I was voted in if other people.
Okay. And you took on the board liaison after the fact, you've been a member of the committee prior?
Again, I don't know if I was liaison prior to that, or just I don't know.
Any other discussion?
I know on the finance, and when I got to the first finance meeting, I assumed I was a member of that committee, and the other 8 people assumed I must be because they elected me chairman. But, you know, there was no, you know, liaison or member. It was just, will you be on the finance committee for the board? And the answer was yes. And if I'm not a voting member, like our last meeting didn't have a quorum. So,
I would think that if you're a member of the committee and you additionally take on board liaison role, that you should have the privilege to vote. We'll make sure that Kathy updates the committee list to include who carries as a member of the committee, but also appointed by the board chairman as the liaison. Any of your questions? Special events and activities, Mike Young.
Special events this Saturday, July 16th, is Family Fun Day in the core area, and they are still looking for some help with food and games. July 23rd at 11 a.m. is the John Ball Traveling Zoo, and that's in the Water Park All-Purpose Room. Also that day is the 3 disciplines triathlon, and Mary is looking for volunteers to help on that also. Please call the rec office. It's at 616-896-8318. From 3 to 4 on that date is Halloween at Sandy Pines, and Mary's also looking for people to purchase and hand out candy at 1 of 5 different locations this year. July 23rd is also our first polka run of the year, sponsored by the Senior Adult Activities Group. The run is from 2 to 4 and it starts in the teepee area. Our next karaoke is August the 5th at the Golf Course Clubhouse. The buffet will start at about 5:30 with music starting at 7. Be sure to check the announcement board in the core for other fun activities.
Thank you, Mike. Long-range planning, Brad Quinlis.
and Mike Young. The Long Range Planning Committee, we met last week Wednesday, and Phil Keating, current member and guest at the meeting, made himself available to discuss options available to Sandy Pines around foundation, endowment, and other donor opportunities. Also present was our CFO, Kimberly Williams. Due to the nature of Sandy Pines' 501c7 status, currently our park is not eligible to do this kind of program. Other considerations are being looked into regards to legacy giving. Committee discussion around the Golden Onion Adult Rec Indoor Pool Survey concluded that as the survey had been reviewed by the Long Range Planning Committee and approved by the board, that it should be available to the membership. A hard copy of the survey is in the office and is also up on our website. The website is, if you go to the office, you can pick one of these. You can look at it, you can't take it out of the office, but it's all in there, all the information. The committee follow-up to the original engineering report in 2014, the most recent engineering opinion resulting in the closing of the building brought about by recommendations to create an ad hoc committee to include a combination group of long-range plan members, building and grounds members, maintenance staff, activity staff, and perhaps trade-related members to move forward in the preliminary steps of using the survey feedback, budget, and other specifications to begin a process to include the design company and engineer and bidding of the new pool. This ad hoc committee may find it necessary to reaffirm membership feedback with an additional survey later on in the year. The committee was also made aware of July 30, 2016 at 7 p.m. There will be a membership informational meeting about the facility. Additional discussion around, we also discussed increasing our golf cart fleet, options of purchasing, repairing, storage, and maybe even leasing of carts was discussed. That's all I have.
Thank you, Rod. Building and grounds report from Mike Young.
We also met pretty much and discussed a lot of the same things that Roger's committee did. The Building and Grounds and Lake Committee met last Saturday at the indoor pool adult rec building. We took a tour of the building to see firsthand the condition of that building. We felt as a committee it was in the best interest for the safety of our members that, yes, we needed to close this building sooner than we had first thought. And we observed large cracks in supporting walls, the rotting of wood around the windows, and windows blowing out. We also talked about the letter that Gene had received from the WLP Engineer Company. In this letter, it stated that a previous structural observation was done on May 16, 2014. At that time, it was thought that we could get a few more years before we needed to replace the building. Gene, wanting to stay updated, requested another observation, which was done on June the 7th. Gene requested 3 different times to get this report, and the company did send the report, but we didn't receive it the first 2 times sent. When Gene did get the report on July 5th, the letter stated that the horizontal headers between the windows had shifted and rotated in several places, and that the wood was rotting faster than first observed. These things appeared to be worsening faster than first thought. They did send 3 options. 1, continue to check the building for signs of failure, but do nothing at this time. However, they said that this option carries the risk of sudden failure of the building elements with potential of severe liabilities. Number 2, we could support the window walls around the pool with a steel structure that could extend the life, but only for an indeterminate amount of time. And 3, remove and replace all of the windows in the pool area with a new curtain wall system designed for spans and openings. However, our Ben from maintenance told us he does not even let his guys go up on the roof because it's very soft and spongy and he does not trust it. The repair options listed only addresses part of the problem of our building, leaving other issues unaddressed. These issues will continue to worsen over an indeterminate amount of time, which causes Gene and our committee much concern for the safety of our members and staff. And again, we're also planning an open meeting for the members of Sandy Pines on July 3rd at 7 o'clock in the pavilion. It will be requested that the Building and Grounds and Lake Committee appoint an ad hoc committee from the members at large to search out a design firm for preliminary plans, working with the Long Range Committee to develop a criteria list for the new structure and any other ideas. These are the reasons that the building needs to be closed and brings me to this motion. I move that the board and Gene move towards demolition of this building and obtain at least 3 bids doing this as quickly as possible for the safety of our members and the staff here at Sandy Pines.
You made a motion?
I did.
You need a second? Roll call vote. Grimwis, seconded.
Kendall.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Nielsen.
Yes.
Pitcher.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Bunt.
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes.
Grimlis.
Yes.
And Hoffman.
Yes.
9-0, motion approved.
And we also talked about concern for our shuffleboard courts, and I talked with Ben, and we're going to have him purchase a few gallons of coating so that the pucks will in fact slide a little bit better than they are now. and trying to update those to a higher standard so that it's a little bit more fun to use our shuffleboard courts. And so that would be coats of oil-based polyurethane and a coat of vanilla seal, and just to bring them up in the conditions, and then we'll try to work around the outside so that we can keep the dirt, sand, and other types of things off those shuffleboard courts so that they can be a lot more playable. I would say we need to talk about all the shuffleboard courts to bring them up. Phase 2 would be part of that, but the ones in phase 1 and also phase 4 also bring them up just to a little higher standard, playable standard.
Thank you, Mike. Golf course, Carolyn Nielsen.
The golf course is meeting tomorrow morning. And unfortunately, I'm leaving tonight for the weekend, so I will not be there. And I understand that they are playing golf after the meeting, so I lose out twice. So we had nothing to report. We had no meeting this past month. We're meeting tomorrow.
Thank you, Carolyn. Technology, Rob Klein.
We met on Friday, July the 1st. There has been a lot of concern with feedback around charter, so we actually got charter to agree to come to the park and attend the flea market on August the 13th. They're going to set up a table. You'll have the ability to ask them questions, talk about your concerns. They will be in person on August the 13th at the flea market. We also discussed the charter fiber optic internet proposals. Charter has provided a proposal to install fiber optic internet circuits to upgrade the data connection services at the Adult Rec Center, the Water Park Pavilion, and Admin Building. The Tech Committee is currently reviewing the proposals. This will provide greater bandwidth for park operations and security. Cell tower is still on target for spring of 2017. Right now, we only have a commitment from Verizon. We're still working with the other carriers to get them on board as well. We're looking at the Wi-Fi options within the park. This is the second part of the bandwidth upgrade. It's to provide improved connectivity, security, reliability of the park's internal data network, essentially for the LAN, the WAN, and for the security cameras. This network will only be used by park operations. It's not basic for the members, it's all internal network stuff. We're also looking at a security camera replacement project. We're looking at the various camera manufacturers to replace and improve the park security camera views across the entire enterprise. The goal will be to select a single solution provider, to provide a flat network for reliability, quality, expansion, and future growth. We also now are looking at a 5- and 10-year plan. We're in the early stages of kind of the needs and wants analysis of any potential enhancements and requirements over the next 5 to 10 years. We'll be creating a member and employee survey to assist the committee with our future improvement plan.
Thank you, Rob. Policy Committee report.
We're working on the technology policy. You just heard. We have a baseline for the policy, but this month we're going to meet with Bob Powers and the committee, and hopefully we will have something more substantial for the audience.
Thank you, Carol. On to safety and security, Tim Hoffman.
Thank you. Tim Hoffman to give the report for safety and security. I'd like to thank our committee for putting in a lot of hours lately. We had meetings on June 17, June 24, July 1, and today. The Safety and Security Committee has been working on a lot of different areas. We're still talking with Steve as well as Technology Committee, looking at options for gate access, if there's any upgrades that are needed at the gates, and also making sure that the technology and stuff is in place to be able to handle the large holiday weekends, we've had some technology issues there with the systems, just kind of getting overwhelmed. One of the other big items that we've been working on is the playground equipment. And there are some serious safety concerns with some of the older playground equipment inside the park. So there have been some meetings with Ben from maintenance, as well as getting some outside consultants to come in and review the playground equipment. And we have it in the budget for this year and making necessary changes there to make sure that everyone stays safe. And then one of the other big things that the committee is working on is how to come up with a long-term threat assessment for the park. And we have committee members working on putting together proposals of how to do that and how to try to do that long-term project of really assessing everything throughout the park, compiling that into a report, and being able to make the long-term recommendations to the board on how to take action there. One of the other things that the committee has been working on is communicating to the board the importance of taking quick action on the firearms policy and weapons within the weapons for trained Sandy Pines employees. And so there was a recommendation that went from the committee to the board of directors, just stressing the importance of taking action there as quickly as possible and not delaying. And we have our next meeting scheduled for July 29, and then our regularly scheduled meeting is on August 19th.
Thank you, Tim. Next on the agenda is the Sandy Pines condos, and tonight there is no report. And before we go to the report of the park president, I would just like to say a few words of a thank you to Jean for the quick action in the closing of the pool in regards to the safety of our members and those around and outside of that building. But more importantly, a more proactive approach with your staff to switch all kinds of activities that happen in that building, in and around that building. You've done a marvelous job, and we asked you previously to just kind of touch base on what you've done proactively, and we thank you for that.
Thank you, Marty. I too want to express my sincere gratitude to the staff. When we closed it on Friday night, it was about 3:15 that we made the final decision, and we contacted Mary Applehoff, who's the recreation director, just before 4 o'clock, and she had to change the location of the all-nighter from that facility to this facility, and action was quick and sure. And Saturday we met with she had a full day on Saturday as well with recreation, but by Sunday Mary had sent a revised schedule for most of the events for recreation, aquatics in particular, to the Kimberly, and that was posted already on Sunday. So as Marty said, the action was sure and swift, and all hands on deck. They did a great job. We moved all of the programs other than aquatics as well. That was done shortly thereafter by Monday afternoon. That was being worked on by Wednesday. I believe those were all placed as well. We have a tenant in the building. They were vacated on the same night as we decided to make the close. I met with him on Wednesday, and we will be meeting again, but he will be closed. The sub-city will be closed for the rest of the season. and he also owns Perfect Pizza across the street. So we're going to be doing some, helping him do some marketing on our website, on our cable channel, and Facebook, and wherever we can to help him get some of that business brought back over across the street to his other place of business there. As you heard before tonight, we did also work on a timeline with building and grounds, with long-range planning, and with the board in the last few days. And all of this was in place, but it just was on a longer time frame than what we had anticipated. And again, we're going to have the meeting on July 30. That was requested the other day. It's set for 7 o'clock. That will be an information meeting specifically for that building, but there will also be likely some availability for some time for questions on the capital reserve fund. But in the meantime, there was a new web page posted, a new page posted on our website. If you go to our website, go to the members page, scroll down to the quick links. There will be a quick link for it'll say the closing of the adult rec indoor pool building. Go there. All the latest information will be there. It's posted daily. You can make comments on some of those areas within it. There will be a Facebook link to that website. There will be some information in the footprints. There will be a schedule coming on the cable channel under recreation. And the changes will also be reflected in the weekly flyer, and so you can stay really up to date on it. But the July 30 meeting will be, if we have any items that are new at that point, and then as well taking questions from some folks. The Capital Reserve Fund is the next big issue that we're working with this season. The information is readily available for that as well. We have printed literature that we've got some on the back table. If it's gone, we'll get you some more. There's website information specifically for the Capital Reserve Fund. We have a face-to-face meeting coming on July 23 near the human foosball area, just way down the road from here. And then again, of course, there should be some time for Q&A on the July 30 meeting. And I just want to make sure we're not all thinking negative here, because there's so many positive things going on with this park. We're hearing negative comments from naysayers about the adult rec and about the Capital Reserve, and I know that such negativity is coming from a minority of members, and mainly the comments are baseless. And I want you to remember how well this park, how good this park is, and how many great people there are in it. And I beg you not to listen to such negativity. Sandy Pines has more going for it than against it. Stay positive. Sure, we need to maintain the park amenities to protect our investment. And sure, many of us believe that a Capital Reserve Fund is the tool that will accomplish that. Who among us that have retired began saving for retirement after they retired? It's the same thing with the Capital Reserve Fund. We have to have the fund in place. It should have been in place, yes, a long time ago. We can't change that. We got what we got right now. But we need to prepare for the future, because there's a lot of it left for Sandy Pines. Look at what we already possess to simply understand why we need to protect it. Many of Sandy Pines' most important resources are in the best condition ever. The human resources. Departmental management has been encouraged to be more active in the management of their respective departments. We encourage them to be more efficient, productive, and courteous. We've added support staff to many departments in the last 3 years with skill sets capable of caring for the park facilities and the safety of our members and guests. Management and administrative staff positions are being transitioned into quality and capable professionals for the leadership of the next generation. Improved member service promoted and implemented
from all departments is evident wherever you go. Our financial resources. Operational cash reserves are the highest in the history of Sandy Pines. 2012 versus 2016 cash on hand, less payables, is almost $2 million greater, with $1.5 million added in the most recent 3 years. We are efficient, we're productive, and we've been very adept at doing the very best we can in all areas of operations. Our operational dues have not increased since the late 70s. Diligent oversight of the financial aspects of the park are managed daily by those in operations, verified by the Finance Committee, the Board, and Bean Garter, our CPA firm. Monthly and annually, they confirm the proper financial management of the park. Capital resources is the next thing on the list that I've noted. The golf course has never been in better condition, with increasing play and revenue already being seen in the 1 year. This year, through June, we've had an increase of 9% in revenue and play, and we have net 5% increase in profitability. Our membership sites are continually appreciating in value, as shown by the resales reports that we see every month. Our condo projects have become an general resource for the park that has been slow and steady in developing. However, there have been 7 sales in 2016 alone, and the association is alive and well managed. They have a great board over there for the association. They're doing a fine job. Many of the facilities are being kept in such a condition as to be useful for a maximum number of years. We have some folks that have said, why are you replacing this, or why are the CCs in Phase 3 being replaced? They look great. Thank you. They do look great, but it's what you don't see is the reason why they're being replaced. We were hearing reports of how great the indoor pool and adult rec building were too, and that's a tribute. I take it as a tribute to our maintenance department for the way they keep things up with what we have to work with. Our technical, accounting, data management, and websites have all been updated in the last 12 months to a point that Sandy Pines is ready to move forward with the necessary contemporary tools needed to do the work for the future. Sandy Pines has more physical amenities than any other member-owned park in the state of Michigan. If our cost of membership would be applied to a ratio of cost per amenity, I would dare to suggest that no park in the United States could compete with the price of Sandy Pines. Sandy Pines is and will continue to be the greatest investment for and in families in the future, as it has been in the past. It's also my firm belief that it will continue to improve in all ways for generations to come because of the positive attitude and support of the members of this park. So thank you for having a positive attitude and a positive force. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. We're on to old business. Is there any old business? Okay, on to new business. Gene's already mentioned the face-to-face meeting scheduled for July 23 at the Foosball area. Typically, it was just the last couple of face-to-face meetings, the topic has really been around the Capital Reserve Fund. And have a lot of great questions and a pretty good attendance at those face meetings, but we would welcome you to attend the July 23rd face-to-face meeting. Next is the annual meeting, which is a bylaw requirement. It's going to be held August 20th at 10 a.m. at the chapel, and we would invite you to attend that as well. The night prior, on August 19th, is the August board meeting. The annual meeting is also the day, August 20 is also the date that the annual election takes place. And those 2 election stations are right here in this room at the recreation station, and the second location is at the pavilion. Look at the footprints and also the weekend flyer, which will designate what phases go where. We've got a month from this coming Wednesday. Those specifics will be in the footprints, but in the weekend flyer. Also, the absentee ballots by law requirement is that we make those available as well as voting by proxy. And those absentee ballots will be available at the administrative office next week, Wednesday, 1 month, 30 days prior to the annual election. Next week, Wednesday is July 20th, and our election is August 20th. We are on to the resolution. I believe that Tim Hoffman from the Safety and Security is going to.
All right, I have a proposal for the board, a resolution to approve a special election ballot for August 20, 2016. This would be a proposal to approve an employee firearms policy for all trained and approved employees of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails. Whereas the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated have proposed to schedule a special election ballot to create an employee firearms policy proposal. Shall the membership approve an employee firearms policy for all trained and approved employees, which will allow the trained and approved employee of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails to carry firearms beginning effective immediately for self-protection and the protection of the membership in the event of an occurrence where an individual or individuals cause a threat where grave bodily injury is imminent. I, Tim Hoffman, so motion.
Second by Rob Klein. Open discussion.
Again, this was, we've been working on this a long time. We're all kind of want our members to vote on it and everything. We're all put a lot of time and we're just kind of want to get over with as fast as possible. But it is in my opinion and mine only that we are breaking our bylaws by doing this. It states in there we got to have 50 days before we present this vote on it. And by what we just voted on, putting something in the permit section, again, it's just my opinion, nobody else's. I think we're putting something in the permit section that covers bylaws, which we can't do. Bylaws have to be voted on by the members of the park. And it is my opinion that this should be voted down, and we should do a numbered vote in the 50 days by mail.
I'll add to the discussion and that on May 27th, after our last board meeting in May, we had a closed session. All of these board members were present, and we had a 9-0 unanimous vote that the vote should go before the membership. I took the time to research the last special election that was done in this park. It was done in 2010 when it began in discussion. In 2011, there was a special election. It fell under the 30-day requirement of notifying our members in writing, which that is our plan if this proposal passes tonight. We would send an informational sheet along with this ballot language in U.S. mail to every single membership household. We will give you 30 days to ask any questions about the proposal language, about the information and purpose around that ballot. And the vote would be considered a special election, a separate ballot from that you will see at the annual election. Number 1 ballot will be for to vote for 3 of 4 candidates for the board of directors. And the second item on there is the proposal for the capital reserve fund. So this particular document that I have in my hand is all of the documentation that I retrieved from Kathy Brock, the executive assistant in the office. It's the past 2011 special election. It involved the entire board. Jean Richards was our chairperson at the time. Max Gibbs sent the Sandy Pines member letter out. It was done within the particular 30-day time frame. It met all the requirements under special election. The vote came to the board. The ballot language went out to the membership at the same time that the letter went out explaining the purpose of the special election, and members voted. It was counted with an approved election commissioner group, and it passed. It was the purchase of the land where there was no charge to membership. It was taken out of the savings account at that time. And the reason I brought the definition to the board tonight is that our bylaws in many, many instances are very gray. And we feel it's our responsibility to make sure that those gray areas do not come into play when we have specific items like this that we need member vote for special election or annual election. Therefore, we wanted to, there is no definition in our glossary of terms or definition of terms about the word election. We need to make that very clear before we move in this direction. It had nothing to do with eliminating a bylaw. We have a bylaw about special election. We have a bylaw about ballot proposals. And we have put a lot of time into making sure that we hear from our members about firearms specifically. If you read the minutes of the last meeting, my new business comments were totally published on the website, available for members to read. And I requested in those new business comments that part of the policy would go before the membership. And I feel that we put a lot of energy and time into this, and definitely we want to hear from the membership. Aside from, does the word election mean we're altering bylaws? We've already heard that the board approved that we can move that election word into the glossary of terms or definition of terms, and I would welcome any other discussion.
I didn't agree with changing it originally, but it is changed, and I guess end doesn't justify the means, but I personally would like to get this question answered once and for all. So if we can do the vote, people can speak their piece and will be decided one way or the other, and if the losing side wants to challenge whether we can change the definition of election, then I guess that's the next question that will be discussed at some later date. I won't be here, but they can discuss it.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Nielsen? Yes. Pitcher? Yes. Young?
Yes.
Bunce?
No.
DeVries?
Yes.
Greenless?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Kendall?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
8-0, motion carried. 8-1, sorry, Carrie. Sorry. We are on to the comments from the members. The first one is from Marion Larson, site K296. In the 28 years I have been here, I believe we have the best leadership in the board chairman that we have ever had here. Thanks, Marty, for your expertise, your caring for the membership, and the many hours that you've donated to the park. I appreciate it. No, it's not my sister. This next one is from Tim Griffin, site K413. If the capital reserve fund is passed, is there more detail to improvements and replacements?
Yes.
Jean, would you like to comment on that?
Question, please.
If the capital reserve fund is passed, is there more detail to improvements and replacements?
The capital reserve fund, if you've looked at the spreadsheet now, certainly it's all budget, and it's budget estimates, but it's based on the history. Most of it is in maintenance, quite honestly, and for that part, they're using historical years of service for a number of different items. So that's where the expectations of life for those areas were placed within the budget. But as we've seen just recently with the building, the adult rec building, that budget and the timeline can change from year to year. So each year as we, as Kimberly and I have the opportunity to give the board a budget for each year in May, and then a final budget draft in August. So too we will do the same thing with the capital reserve fund. It will be reprioritized. It will be reviewed by the finance committee, and then on to the board for final approval each year. Most of what we see in that budget is, if you look at the real numbers, it's repair or replacement of items that will wear out. Certainly, there's big items in there, which are the roads are a couple $1 million. The adult rec building was a couple million, was a little more than $2 million. There's some work that has to be done in the pavilion and the center area. You won't see any new amenities. You will see replacement amenities, such as I just mentioned, but no new amenities. We won't have another water park unless that's what the members decide to vote on, if it should come up. Right now, I think it's clear from the survey that we see, and you'll be able to get copies of that the way it sounds, that the membership would like to have a building or a structure similar to what we have there now, and that has existed there for the last 45 years. So did I answer the question? Was it from Ken?
Tim Griffin?
Did I answer your question, Ken?
Yeah, that was good enough. Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Tim Griffin has a second question. Site K413. Capital Reserve Fund is passed. Are the items on the list voted on, or do improvements commence on passing? And I will tell you that we get a capital budget every year, a proposed budget that comes through finance. So we will be able to identify those specifics on that particular year.
But once it's passed, we don't vote whether yes or no on it.
Correct. We're just voting for the overall 10-year capital reserve fund at $325 per member site. And we move forward with, 325 doesn't change. That is the same amount for the next 10 years. It does provide enough funds to, hopefully enough funds to the projections that are currently in that plan today. And we will have to move that around annually as Gene presents a capital budget as well as an operational budget to us every year for the bylaws. Answer your question? Thank you. The next question is Larry Shattuck from N109, and his question is, or he just wants to involve carry discussion. Larry, are you?
Yeah.
You want a microphone? Wherever we can hear you. Probably a microphone would be good.
My name is Larry Shattuck. I'm in N109. I've been here at the park for about 9 years. My grandkids got me here. I don't know how you have grandkids, but they have a way of doing that sometimes. And we're happy we're here. We have a good time with it. I have had the pleasure of serving with a number of the folks on the Security and Safety Committee over the last few months. And I really wanted to have a chance to talk to you folks today. I realize that this is a really sensitive subject for a lot of folks. A lot of folks have real strong feelings and ideas about this. And I wanted to have the opportunity to just talk with you for a couple of quick minutes. So thank you. I've been in security for about 15 years. I work with a security company now. I really started getting into that about 9/11. A friend of mine, was with the FBI, and I were sitting actually in a restaurant in downtown Grand Rapids, Project Bison, and kind of changed my direction professionally. And so I started getting into security a little bit more, and have been doing so ever since. We're not living in the same world that we were in 2001.
Yes, you bring the microphone a little closer. to your-
Closer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. I can hear myself just fine over here. Okay. So, we're not living in the same world that we lived in 2001. It's a lot different. You just turned on the TV last night, and things are really strange. And what I wanted to share with you was, for those of you who have concerns about it, the committee has spent a great deal of time looking at the pluses and minuses. I know I'm not going to change probably a lot of your minds right now, but I do want to bring some information for you that you might just want to consider as you're thinking about this. We didn't take this lightly. Many of the members of the committee who joined the committee were not at all in favor of this policy when they sat down. And upon looking at some of the things that we look at in risk and security, it took a little while, but after looking at the evidence that they were looking at, everybody on the committee found that there was really not a real good option not to. And let me just explain something, and I'll make this quicker. When you look at risk for a facility, you look at three different factors. You look at what is the threat, okay? What is your threat and your hazard? And there's 49 different threats and hazards according to the Department of Homeland Security. Everything from meteorological to geological to human threats. The human threat can be something that's intentional, or it can be something that's not intentional. But then you have vulnerabilities, and then you have the impact. Well, folks, we've got folks here that are charged with protecting us. And they come out when we have a problem. And we're a little community here of about 2,000 plus people. We're like a little city. Not really a whole lot different than any other city in the country. And I don't know how many of you here are part of that city that go out here to the chapel, on a Sunday. I happen to go out there, I really enjoy it. But if you sit down in that chapel, there's a lot of people there. Do you know how far we are from a response? If something really goes wrong, we are a long way from response. If you look at Charleston, South Carolina, and Umpqua, Oregon, the bad stuff happens in a matter of minutes. And the thing is that we really depend on our rangers. When something goes wrong, you got something that's happening, they get a call, and they come out. And whether somebody's swinging a baseball bat, or a golf club, or a knife, or whatever, our folks are expected to be there. And again, we're not living like it was 2001, or when this park started 30 years ago. It's different now. There are people who are flat out crazy. And it's not just the terrorist, okay? This is not just a terrorist situation. This is moms and dads and kids and people who are estranged. It's a tough thing that a ranger has to respond to when they have to go to a call. And I've worked with these guys, not this particular crew, but I've worked with guys in law enforcement now for the last 15 years. And I know, I can tell you, after they go through the training, the last thing they want to do, the ones that are good, and I'm telling you, 99.9% of the ones that I've ever seen are good. They don't want to pull a gun. I know I'm not going to change your mind, but I'm just going to ask you if you could just give some thought and consideration to the fact that when those folks go out, they go out to protect you. They like to protect themselves, so do their families. In order for them to do that, they have to have something more than a belly club to go with. because the bad guys that are out there carry something more, quite often, and they're put into harm's way, and we put them in harm's way because we live in a community of some 2,000 people. There's a lot of things here that we got to deal with. The reason this is going to vote really quickly here is because we don't want it to last until next year, because these folks are being called out right now. Many of the things that I just talked to you about have already occurred here on this part, on these grounds. And for that reason, I'd really like you to take a look at it and consider the fact that there's some challenges that they have. We're looking at good people. We're looking at tremendous training they're being asked to do, and there's a tremendous amount of oversight that they have to go through in order to carry if they are going to be allowed to carry. I don't want to be responsible for them going out and facing a situation when they don't have the protection they need. I want to tell you one thing else. Last thing here. Those folks on the committee here spent a lot of time giving this consideration. Spent a lot of time investigating and researching. When you look at plausible deniability, it's not there anymore. We know there is a threat. It is out there. It is very evident. You can't possibly deny that there is a threat out there. It is there. If we don't do something to be able to put our folks to help them to protect themselves and us here, we got a situation where we're just turning our back on the others. So please take a look at it, consider it. I hope we're going to get a chance as a committee in one of the next different functions that we have coming up here to have a table out in front where you folks can ask us questions or whatever, or you can send your friends to us and ask us. I'd really like that to happen. I hope the whole party gets a chance to hear that. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Larry. The last member request we typically handed in prior to the meeting. Jill Hawks, site 809, if we change our policy because of the terrorists on the news, the terrorists win.
It's my
Okay, thank you for sharing it. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second from Rod Zimmerlis. All in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.